Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the In Alignment vlogs about the weekly challenge. So today is Sunday, February 13th, February 13th, and today marks the end of the second week of the challenges. So funny thing, I recorded, I think, probably day one or day two, like a small. What I wanted to do was to do a daily vlog, or not a daily vlog, just like record myself daily to kind of have these feelings and thoughts fresh, right? To record them as they're really fresh. Did I do that? Only one day, my friends, only one day. And in thinking about what I was going to, or how I was going to update you this week, because obviously I actually don't have a great recollection of this week's challenges. That's how well it went. I was reminded that there's a thought pattern that I did find. And usually I feel it when I am, say if I haven't been working out for a while and I go back into my fitness routine. Usually like the first week is where I might say work out twice that week. And the second week it might be a little fail too. And then by the third week is when I come back and, like full beast. But it's almost an expected thing. So then I feel like I have conditioned myself to, in a way, to operate on that premise. It's like, the first week you can fail, or quote unquote fail. Like you don't have to go full on in the first week, and then you'll have the second week to fall back or whatever. And then by the third week, you'll be good. Now, is this an issue? It's not an issue per se. However, to me, it is an issue in the way, not an issue, but it's something that I do want to recondition or kind of change a little bit, just because I don't see the point of that. Like, why do I need to wait 3 weeks before I can get something right? If I can get in on the first week, perfect. If I can get on the second week, like, why not? Doesn't have to be the third week, So anyways, that's something that I did notice. Now, I did make some notes that I need to find right now. Bear with me, I'm almost there. So before I recorded this video, something that I noticed, or I realized, is that I think I made some goals for myself last week, for this week, which I don't really recall. I don't really remember. And so I decided that as of today and, going forward, I will write my goals for the following week based on what I have observed in the last week, or if anything for that matter has come up in my mind or something like that. So the first thing that I noted was, hold on a second. Oh yeah, so I wanted to keep a record of my breakthroughs, because today I wanted to share my breakthroughs and I couldn't find them. And might also be maybe today how I'm feeling, right? But that's the thing with feelings and thoughts. Like sometimes you feel like you're on top of the world, or sometimes you have great ideas and you go into these things, but if you don't take any notes, and sorry if you can hear the background noise, there's a plane passing by, blessing us with its sound. Anyways, so if you don't make a note, it's easy to forget things. And for me, for myself, I have found that it's easy to forget things, but also not to act upon things. And they kind of just stay in the realm of, oh, that's such a great idea. Or maybe I even live this idea. I see it coming, I entertain it, or I meditate on it, and it's amazing. But as long as I don't write it down, it's like, oh, what a great idea, fabulous idea, and that's the end of story. So, going into next week, I want to keep a record of my breakthroughs or notes or of my fails or whatever comes up, during the whole challenge, right? Now, the second thing is, so my goal for next week is to post, to come on IG 4 times and update you on how the challenge is happening. So I do remember that last week I did it twice, and this week I think my goal was 3 times or 4 times. See, again, this whole thing. Ultimately, I want to do it every day, right? But again, this whole thing, it's like, oh yeah. The first week is kind of your benchmark. The second week, you can kind of excel, and then by the third week, you'll do much better. And I have an obsession. I've had this obsession with the number 3 for some reason that, sometimes pops in great forms that are conducive to what I want to do. And sometimes, just like this, I feel like, I don't know, it's not doing much for my life, So, anyways, next week, third week, my goal is to post stories 4 times on IG to kind of share my updates. And then this is something that you won't see probably until the Sunday or Monday when I post this weekly video vlog. But I wanted to do, so last week, what my intention was for this week, it was to start recording on a daily basis what I've been through, what I went through, so that, whilst things are still fresh, right? I think I did mention that. And so then I can kind of just do like a, what do you call it? Like a montage or a collage. Yeah, something like that. And so my intention and goal for next week is to do the same thing, because I think this time I only did it once, to be quite honest. And so what are my successes from this week? First of all, if I can be truthfully honest, I did not accomplish my daily challenge every day. So this week's challenge was to pick 3 things that you don't want to do or that are on your back burner, and do them, right? And I remember the first day I did them. The second day I also did them. But to be in honesty, maybe that's why I don't remember what are my failures and successes, because I didn't do the whole challenge, right? And what was the reason? The reason is that I have this other thought pattern that it's almost like I put myself intentionally into these areas of unease or discomfort or quote unquote failures, just to see how it will feel like, right? And then I rewrite things from there. Is that necessary? Absolutely not. And I guess that is in some way a success for me, because I'm realizing more and more how it impacts me, and especially with other things that I want to do in my life, or some other projects that I'm currently working on, and manifesting certain things. It's not something that is bothering me per se, but it's not something that I find is working to my best advantage either. So yeah, maybe this is probably a moment that I should take to write this down so I keep an eye on that. But I guess that would be a breakthrough in a way, or not really a breakthrough, because I've been aware, but it's more of a reminder to see how it's still there, how it's still present, and how it's playing on my journey in my life, in my psyche, and all these other areas, right? So that's definitely, failure and a breakthrough all at the same time. I don't perceive any failures as failures. I always use things that maybe I didn't achieve, that I aim to achieve, as not benchmarks, but it's just like a note for me. It's like, oh, okay, well, this didn't happen this way, so how come this didn't happen? What are you going to do about it? And I come up with a new strategy, right? And that's also one of the purposes of these challenges. I really want you to start looking at things not as good or bad, but just as, okay, maybe something that is this working out for me, yes or no, and then make a decision from there. I don't think life has to be, my intention is that life doesn't really have to be that hard, you know? And something that is hard is really, it's really a perspective. It's perception, because even today I went for a walk. I was on a walk with some friends, a good friend of mine and her cousin, and we were talking about, you know, life and our struggles and things like that. And this person that they knew went through so much, and you know, in a way, I think we as humans sometimes, you know, you almost cannot escape that tendency to want to compare and want to compare yourself with a judgment that you have. So for me, when I was listening to it, you know, I felt like, yes, this person went through something, but, or went through some pretty harsh stuff in comparison to maybe our lives. But at the same time, I know people who've been through something similar, if not worse. And for them, because again, it's everything is in our mind, our hearts, our how we live things, you know? Because for them, they were so intentional and focused on what they wanted to accomplish, it didn't seem that way. It didn't feel that way. And it wasn't experientially that hard, you know? And so they were able to look back at those things and kind of talk about them with ease or very casually, whereas maybe for someone else, this would have been the end of their world, right? It's kind of just like trauma. For me, when I work with some of my clients, you know, and even in talking with people, sometimes I tell them, like, you can't really, what is trauma? For me, I feel like trauma is really an experience. It's something that it's a reaction, an emotional reaction that conditioned you to act a certain way or react a certain way based on some fears that you had, right? And so that high emotion, you know, stays in the back of your mind, and it's on a loop, and it keeps replaying. And out of survival, your ego is like, okay, hey, we're never going to do this again, or if this happens, you have to do this, right? And so you kind of subconsciously always operate in a way that you think or hoping that will take you away from this trauma, but really you're still operating from a fear base, right? And so for me, it's really hard to say, let's say being in a car accident is traumatic, right? If you as an individual went through a car accident and it wasn't traumatic, you didn't feel that way, then who's to say that all car accidents are traumatic, right? Or maybe seeing a spider is very traumatic to you. And so again, who's to say that seeing a spider or being in close proximity to spiders shouldn't be traumatic? Everybody has different experiences, and we don't know how these experiences, how we translate these experiences like emotionally, right? It's the emotion behind what you experienced that is traumatic rather than the thing itself, right? Anyways, I kind of regressed there, but coming back to this weekly challenge. So yeah, my goal, post 4 times on IG for next week, yep, and record daily summaries of what's going on, and keep a record of my breakthroughs or anything, or failures, quote unquote failures, successes, anything that comes to mind, note, or whatever it is. And yeah, I think that's all I have for now, guys. So looking forward to next week's challenge. I haven't announced it yet on IG, but I think I can tell you. I wanted to do something more physical. So next week I have decided that we will do 100 push-ups every day. And if 100 push-ups is easy for you, try to do something that will be somewhat challenging. So maybe weighted push-ups, or elevated push-ups, or incline push-ups, or pike push-ups, or handstand or headstand, push-ups, something, you know, something that will be challenging to you. And yeah, let's see what happens. All right. See, I was so ready to say goodbye. Anyways, guys, take care with much love and ease. And until the next video, yeah, just take it easy, guys. See ya.